y'all ready? Because I don't think y'all ready. Today we're going to change my client Jake's life. As you can see, he's been woofing there for a little minute. So we're going to go ahead and start this fade. So we're going to come in with our lever closed. And we're going to start right at the top of the arch and then drop it towards the back. Now Jake likes his fade a little tighter and a little higher than usual, because we don't keep his arches, right? So we're starting right where the arch would kind of connect to that vertical bar, sloping around the ear and then dropping it in the back. And again, this is our lever closed, and what this is going to do is allow us to get rid of that first line a lot easier. So now we moved on to that lever open, and we're going up about a finger's width, still maintaining that same shape that we created with that lever closed. And in this video, I went back to the OG magic clips. If you guys have been watching the channel for a while, you already know that these used to be my go-to clippers, so you know I had to pick them back up. Now right above that, we're going to grab our one guard open and do that same thing, about a finger's width right above that lever open. And we're just staying real consistent here, following the steps to our system and process. And we're brushing every time we pass the clipper to make sure that it's laying down in its natural position. And you can already see from the steps, the gradients of this fade is going to be crazy. So now we're moving on to our two guard open. And I believe this is the biggest guard we are going to use in today's fade. So I'm coming in with that two guard, and I'm kind of flaring off the shape of his head. I don't want to cause or dig into the hair too much, because I want this to be as seamless as possible. So you'll see me comb and then come right off the ridge of the head here. Still working with that two guard, and now we're gonna start blending down. So as I pointed out right here, I'm gonna grab my 1.5 with that lever all the way open, and we're gonna start attacking this line, man. So we're gonna start off open, and if we see during the process that open isn't doing the job, we'll go ahead and close that lever, just like I did right here. And slowly but surely, you'll start to see that line start to disappear. And that's what it's about, finding that system, finding that process, and then applying it over and over and over until you perfect it and become a master at it. And then if you want to try other systems to see if you can become more efficient, then you can go ahead and do that. And now right up below that, we're going to grab our half guard with that lever open, just like we did with that 1.5. And we're just blending down little by little. So now I went ahead and closed that lever halfway. And we're using a lot of the corner of that blade to get into those indentations and crevices in the head. So you see I closed it again, moving towards the back. Especially in the back of the head tends to be where there's a lot more dark spots. So I'm going to pay extra attention to detail back there. Blend is starting to come out super blurry, so now we're gonna come and get rid of this last line, and we're gonna go halfway with our lever here, since we know we established that line with it open. And then right there you see me close it about 1/4 of the way, and this is gonna finish off the left side of his blend. And then we'll get rid of that way at the top and ball it out the bottom at the end. And the reason I like to save the bottom hair for the end is because sometimes I feel like it helps me see the gradients and the fade a little better, as opposed to kind of shaving it off right away. So that's really the goal here. It doesn't make the haircut more efficient, but it's just to kind of give me that darkness to kind of balance out the gradients. I don't know how to explain it, but you know what I mean. So now we're gonna come in with some clipper over a comb, and we're gonna come in with that comb and flare out slightly. And then any hair sticking out of the comb, we're going to go ahead and get rid of with our lever open. And you can see how it's starting to make this blend look a lot more fluid and not so choppy. And it's coming together super nice. And now to soften everything up, I'm going to come in with my thinning shears. And that was just to soften that blend, make it not so harsh. And this is a pretty natural haircut, so we're just gonna line up his vertical bar. Nothing too crazy. And now we're gonna go ahead and shave the bottom with our trimmer. And this trimmer should blend right into that clipper closed, especially in my case because both my trimmer and clipper are zero gapped. But I'm making sure when I come in with that trimmer that I'm not taking it up too high, and then I'm kind of flicking out the top of that hair. And I also find it very satisfying to shave off the hair, especially after the fade is done, because you know, you can see how the skin just, you know, it looks super white, so it makes the blend pop like crazy. So we're gonna follow it up with the shaver here to get it a little closer and really, you know, add another layer of gradients to this fade. And now when we get to this other side, all we're gonna do is apply that same exact system and process to this side, right? The lever open, one open, two open, and then blend down. So I'm not gonna do too much explaining on this side. I'm kind of just gonna let you follow along and pop in here and there. But on this angle of the haircut, you can really see how it looks from the side, which I think helps a lot, especially when you drop the fade in the back. I feel like that area right behind the ear is very important to, you know, make sure it's blurry. And personally, I always find that doing the right side is a lot easier than the left, just because of the simple fact that I'm right-handed. So it's not, you know, much of a weird angle, it's just easier to operate on that side. I know you guys hear that beat though. Shout out to Germ Boomin' and Get Beam. Get Beam put me onto him. So I hit him up on Instagram. I was like, yo, do you mind if I use, you know, the guy that you use for your instrumentals? And he, you know, gave me the blessing. So I went and I purchased some of Germ Boomin's beats, which link will be in the bio. And I think it's super fire. So now we're blending down. This is our 1.5 open, and we're just gonna start making this fade blurry. Now we grabbed our half guard, lever open, and we're gonna work at this line right here. You can see, man, this fade is starting to get blurry. We're starting to apply that pressure and really separate ourselves from everybody else. So we went back to our one guard because the half guard wasn't doing the job. And as you can see, it really stretched out that blend. Man, that angle is crazy. Y'all can't tell me nothing. And now to get rid of that last line, I'm gonna come in 1/4 of the way with that lever, and we're gonna start knocking out that last line. Especially going towards the back right here, doing the same exact thing. But you'll see I'm using a lot of that left corner of that blade. And that's just to get into those, you know, crevices in the back of the head where the occipital bone is. But that drop is going crazy. And now to transition into the top nicely, we're going to do that clipper over comb. And so far, it is coming together very well. And now we're gonna clean up his vertical bar. Like I said, nothing crazy. We're just kind of, you know, tapping at that line. We don't want to push it in. Comb down his bangs. And now what we're gonna do is just shave the bottom. And I do come in with my shaver, but I don't get to record that part. But you can see even from a distance that blend is hitting. And I know you see the t-shirt. If you would like to cop one, head over to thebarberplug.com and use code JClipperHands at checkout, and I got you. So now we're gonna start blending into his beard, and when blending into the beard, all you're really doing is a reverse taper. So we're gonna come in lever open and then get rid of that line in between with the lever closed. And then the next step is our one guard closed, and then we'll open it up. Super simple, super easy. Blending into the beard is a lot easier than blending into the hair, and I think it's because, you know, usually people's beard hair is a lot thinner than the hair on the head. So sheesh, that drop is going nuts. Now we're gonna lower his mustache down to a one guard open, and that's kind of the universal guard that I use on everyone, a one guard open, unless they ask me to keep it longer. And he wanted to knock the beard down to a number 3, which is not too much, you know, it still keeps it pretty dark, because that cowlick right there on the bottom of his beard on the left side drives him crazy. So he likes to keep it nice and short so it doesn't sprout out too much. And now we're gonna line up his mustache. We're gonna take it off the top of the lip, and with the top we're just gonna clean it up, keep the line where he has it. And one thing I like to do is use my shaver to knock it down before the razor, and that just makes for a cleaner, you know, glide when coming in with that razor. So now we're gonna line up the back of the beard, and as you can see, the trimmers are just eating through the hair and really sharpening up that beard line. And he wants to keep his line fairly low, so we're not putting it right at the jawline, just right below it. And his line on the bottom of the neck tends to be a little difficult, just because, as you can see, it grows in every which direction. So we're trying our best to get it as clean as we can. And now I'm going to have him blow a bubble, and I want to establish my line at the bottom of the beard, and then I'm going to go to the top and connect those 2 points in the middle. And what that's going to allow me to do is get that nice round shape on the beard without pushing it down. And I want to brush away that initial ash line just to ensure that we give him a nice crispy line. And that fade and beard hitting, stop playing. Now we're going to clean up the other side, and we're going to go ahead and clean up his mustache. And a lot of times this is my favorite part of the haircut, just because it's already done and it's just the minor details. And sometimes I get in my bag, you know what I'm saying? So now we're going to come in with our Tune 45 texturizing powder. And we're just spraying it in the hair, working it in. And now we're going to come in with our Tune 45 clay. And I like to mix the two products together. It gives it a nice finish, especially for that texture top, which is what my client Jake likes. And we just want to give it that organized, messy look. So we're going to go ahead and piece it together just slightly. But fam, this is the cut. We threw a nice fade on him, textured up the top, lined up his beard. If this video helped you in any way, shape, or form, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. But like always, I appreciate y'all, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.